You're still watching Gist Nigeria from the BBC and Channels Television. Many thanks for staying with us. I'm Anetta Felix. Coming up, the entrepreneur providing indigent students with educational support in Nigeria. But before then, if you board a plane, chances are that the pilot would be a man. Statistics says only 5% of the world's commercial pilots are women. And that number is even slimmer when it comes to military pilot. But Asli Hassan A-ba-de, a Somali pilot, decided to challenge that stereotype about 50 years ago. Today, she is Africa's first female military pilot and the only woman to fly for her country's Air Force. In this video, she shares her story with the hope of inspiring girls across Africa.
In my school years, I was one of the bright students, and I was really good at maths and physics and astronomy. When I began to really like these subjects, I found myself being drawn to flying. Most of my family were in the army. My mother and my father were both police officers. My siblings were also in the army, and because of that, we lived in the airbase. While studying at home, I would see planes taking off, and I used to pray that I become one of those pilots who are lucky enough to fly these planes. In those days, people were concerned that girls would take the responsibilities of boys, so they didn't send their girls to school. The 60s was also the time that we got our independence, and we became a new country with new freedoms, with a new government, and a lot of opportunities that weren't available before became available. My sister worked as a secretary for the president of Somalia at the time, and I believe that the president is the people's president and everyone should have access to him. So I went to go see him, and I asked his permission to join the aviation. Then he asked me many questions. Do you know that this is a man's job? I can handle it. If you allow me to join, it will be fantastic. And if you don't, I will ask my parents to send me abroad and I will return to this country as a pilot. When he saw my determination, he signed me up. And that's how I joined the Air Force. On the first day that I was going solo, the media, including Radio Mogadishu, covered the occasion throughout the week until the day I flew. The public were overjoyed. But there were some at the time that thought that this cannot be true. There must be a man behind her who was in control, and she's just sitting there. They watched me go in the plane alone and take off. They'd never seen a female pilot before, and girls had never done something like this before. All I wanted was for it to be known that an African girl can become a pilot, and she can do what she wants. And that was the statement I wanted to make that day, for Somali girls and girls across the continent to know.